Yeah, happy Tuesday, everyone. So my name's Lennox Matsinde, CEO and co-founder of Satoshi's Index. So I've been in crypto since 2017 as a day trader, and in parallel have been in corporate America. Spent most of my career as a software engineer, currently running a product team over at Starbucks Corporate, and most recently leading some blockchain and NFT initiatives. So it's been fun to really help drive the ecosystem forward from the corporate side, but also from the startup side. Um, Also run a small boutique quantitative hedge fund where we deploy quantitative strategies in foreign currencies as well as crypto. So that's really the background that I brought to this project, this idea of quantitative trading and using algorithms to achieve long-term gains. I will pass it on to you, Kevin, for your intro.
Thank you, Lennox. So my name is Kevin Villatoro. My love for crypto really started around 10 years ago. I had just got my Series 7. I was working for a financial advisor and I stumbled upon a Bitcoin thread on Reddit. Shortly after that, I started mining. I started trading. Fast forward to today, I did a career shift. For the past 8 years, I've been living in New York, been working for a lot of the big global agencies, currently at Dentsu. And I've done everything from lead performance media campaigns to full funnel marketing strategies for several of the 500 Fortune 500 companies. So with that, we'll jump into our product and the problem, Lennox.
Yeah, so really in a nutshell here, what we found was that there's a lot of attention around crypto, especially in the last several years. Right now, we're in a bear market, but there's a lot to be said about the amount of eyeballs that were on crypto in the last several years. And one consistent theme that we kept seeing was successfully navigating crypto is challenging for new investors. And there really aren't any long-term investing solutions that cater to the cryptocurrency markets. There's probably a few index funds or index type products that have popped up over the last few years, but overall, there really hasn't been any solution that's catered to this segment of investors that want exposure to crypto in a safe and somewhat stable manner. In addition to that, researching the best cryptocurrencies to invest in for the average person is very time consuming just because of the amount of information that you have to consume to really make educated investments. Um, there are some solutions that are out there that again cater to this segment of the market. A lot of them end up being custodian solutions that either have low liquidity or just don't actually leave you with ownership of the underlying assets. So, I mean, a lot of people have probably heard about the Venmos and the Cash Apps and the Robinhoods that allow you to buy crypto, but that's not actually your crypto, right? You see the gains, et cetera, on the screen, but you don't hold the keys to the wallet, so you can't actually claim ownership of those tokens. And then there's a whole other segment of tools that allow you to create your own custom trading bots and algorithms and such, which again tends to be too complicated for the average investor. So, long story short, there really has not been a ton of options for people that need help navigating crypto. Next slide, Kevin. So, in a nutshell, our solution was to bring education and profitable long-term investing tools and solutions to the masses, similar to how people engage with 401k products or index funds, but really just targeted at crypto investors and those looking to enter the crypto market. Next slide. So, our platform, we designed it really to optimize simplicity. We over-indexed on simplicity because we realized the best possible thing we can create is something that's set it and forget it, and that's similar to what investors are used to today with things like their 401k. So our platform saves consumers time, energy by automating the end-to-end experience, the end-to-end investing experience. We use a combination of a proven momentum strategy. So we trade with the trend. Our algos trade with the trend, as well as time-tested dollar cost average investing strategy that has historically outperformed Bitcoin by 2x. So this allows you to build wealth and automatically diversify your crypto portfolio in the background while also retaining custody of all your investments on your exchange. We don't take custody of your fiat. We don't take custody of your crypto. Next slide.
So
Kevin, okay.
Lennox just alluded to some of the returns we have versus Bitcoin. And really, this is the first question people ask, right? When they're looking to invest in a sort of product that automates, whether it be a basket of coins via an index or any sort of investment, people are initially curious about the returns. Naturally, I would be too. So how does it stack up compared to other index products? Well, the S&P 500, arguably the most popular index globally. It's in everyone's 401k. Definitely is, I would say it's a little bit more stable during bear markets, but we're really looking at the bull market returns, right? That's where Satoshi's index shines, and that's where crypto shines. A more comparable product to compare Satoshi's index to would be BITW or Bitwise. They actually no longer accept retail money. You have to be an institution to actually invest in their fund. And it's quite a bit different than ours. It does invest in a basket of coins. Their trading algorithm is quite a bit different, and they are a custodian. But we will dive deeper into the competitors and what they look like in a little bit later. But clearly, there are competitors in the space. So what does the market look like? How big is the market?
Yeah, so our approach to really sizing this market has had some changes in the last few weeks. We actually realized upon diving deeper into this that the market is larger than we had initially anticipated. So the total market, roughly, we estimate is around 890 million investors. And this, how we went about this was we aggregated the total users that use apps like Robinhood and Betterment and Stash and PayPal, Venmo to buy crypto. And then we added that to the total number of users or customers that are on the top 20 crypto exchanges by trading volume. So in our eyes, that really signifies the ocean, the entire population that could potentially be interested in an offering like ours. And then we went on and identified a subsection of that, which is our SAM, which is roughly 133 million people that are actively investing every month, i.e., they've previously bought crypto at least once a month, or they're registered with one of these global exchanges. And of this group, we see that 30% of these users, they have purchased crypto in the last month. So these are the active crypto investors from that TAM. And then lastly, we drilled further into this population and came up with a sum of 2.6 million monthly active users. So these are our target. These are the people that are engaged enough with crypto. They're buying crypto probably a few times a month, if not more. And the last little piece I'll add to this is there's a statistic that we pulled from some of our research that dictates that only 1% of traditional investors use robo-advisors. However, 63% of investors are open to trying them. And that's kind of the category that most people would categorize us as a tool that's similar to a robo-investor, even though we're a bit more than that, obviously. So we decided to use a 2% variable as a conservative estimate. And landed at about $639 million a year in potential revenue, assuming a $20 a month subscription.
Conservative, of course. So how does the product work? Well, our initial product we designed to be as easy to use as possible. And whenever we launched it last year, it was initially only accessible by NFT. So we were able to raise around $70,000 just from people raising their hand being like, I want this product. I'll buy a license. And that license was from an NFT. So initially, you could only access our product through NFT. We recently opened up subscriptions, though, and this is going to be like our main business model forward. We have more details coming up in a bit about that. Subscriptions can be purchased via fiat. We're also introducing crypto options as well. So if someone wants to buy a quarterly or annual subscription via crypto, they can. So once they set up their account via either subscription or through an NFT they previously purchased, whether that be mint or secondary market, they simply just need to pair their account with a major exchange. Binance, Coinbase, and Binance US were the exchanges we initially supported, but we're actually planning to introduce a lot more coming soon. And then finally, the tool will dollar cost average invest into an index of the top 10 coins. at whatever cadence the customer wants, right? It could be weekly, it could be monthly. And we also have different options depending on the risk tolerance as well. So it doesn't always have to be the top 10, but it could be a segment that's more heavy on Bitcoin and Ethereum if they just want to play it safe. And finally, I just want to note that we are not a custodian, like many of our competitors. The users always have ownership of their coins at all times. And so a lot of the NFT tokenization gateways into our product was really tech that we developed, proprietary tech. And there's some articles about us on Yahoo Finance. So we're one of the first fintech companies to use NFTs for software license. We have developed this custom authentication mechanism, leveraging smart contracts, access tokens, and non-custodial wallets to really make our product unique and give people as much ownership over the coins as possible. And whenever they're able to jump into our platform and finally use it, of course, they have access to our advanced investing algorithms. And this all feeds into our revenue model. So initially, like I mentioned, we were able to generate a decent chunk of money through NFT mints, and then the secondary market fees that also relate to that. But moving forward, it's really going to be focusing on recurring retail investor subscriptions. And later on in the year, also institutional licenses. So developing a product that's more suitable for institutional type investors. And this will all help scale customers, right? Expanding the number of supported crypto exchanges is something I just talked about, but also introducing new B2C and B2B trading products and features. So what I just described was our initial product, the product that got us out the door. But we plan to expand that quite a bit to really become a more well-rounded solution for crypto investors. And the long-term vision really is expanding our retail products, introducing AI integration, and also launching an institutional product later this year. And this really helps us bring our mission to bringing responsible and successful crypto and index investing to everyone. So let's jump in just briefly into a little bit more detail about that.
Yeah, so kind of going from left to right here, as Kevin had mentioned, our primary focus has been the retail market, just because there's just a ton of opportunity there. So the plan from here would be to add support for decentralized exchanges, because we have seen quite amount of attention and requests in our community for just a fully decentralized path. For people that don't want to be on centralized exchanges and such. So that's one portion of our strategy in the short term, as well as adding additional index products. So a lot of people would want to focus on certain sectors, for example, gaming or layer twos and DeFi. So we'll be launching a few different baskets that track, or indexes that track those specific categories, as well as, of course, expanding the number of supported exchanges. And then ideally this summer is when we begin the sprint where we tackle our AI integration. So we have a few different strategies that have kind of been sitting on ice that are AI driven that we're waiting to promote into production. So this summer will be when we bring those online, as well as incorporate some GPT-based investing tools into our UI. And then lastly, the stretch goal for the fall of 2023 is really just the launch of our institutional product. And that is still being fleshed out, but ideally we're creating an on-ramp for different types of institutions to leverage our software and our platform.
It goes without saying that exchanges love what we're building, right? We're driving more customers to them, reoccurring revenue. So really, what we see here is not only exchanges benefiting, but also certain cryptocurrencies and the on-chain activity that's associated with that as well. BNB is consistently in the top 10. I'll just throw it out there. Our algorithm always buys it for obvious reasons. Trading at volume alone, it's just a popular coin. It's a good bet long term. But like I mentioned, Satoshi's index really automates consistent trading across exchanges, and it encourages more investment over time because it's getting, whether it be weekly or monthly or whatever cadence that the investor chooses, it allows them to invest on exchanges without them actually logging into the exchange. Competition. So we mentioned Bitwise a little bit earlier. Another competitor that is very close to us, but also very different is 3 Commas, which I'm sure a lot of folks on the call are familiar with. 3 Commas is the largest trading bot tool that it's available for crypto currently. So 3 Commas is great. We love what they're doing, but it is very difficult for the average user to use. You have to go in there, you have to program your own strategy. It's also fairly expensive for what you need to do to duplicate what we've provided out of the box. Another competitor that recently just popped up is Alongside, and they kind of took Invictus's place. For those of you who are following the news for the past few years, Invictus started with this tokenized index fund that was capturing the top 20 cryptocurrencies. Well, they went out of business last year. They made some bad bets and some exchanges that went under. They parked too much money there. So they're out of the picture, but Alongside is doing some promising things in the space as well. But of course, very different than what we're doing. They're a custodian, but they also offer a way to invest in a basket of coins. But what we're finding is most of these competitors are expensive custodians or complicated trading bots. And the tokenized indexes that do exist and historically have existed have suffered from low liquidity and a lot of uncertainty. All right, Satoshi's index really is the only solution here that allows customers to hold their own coins, complete freedom, and it's easy to use. The y-axis here, we put historical returns in here because, as I alluded to earlier, that's really the first question a lot of investors have is, how much money do I stand to make with using any one of these products? Well, what we found is the competitors below the x-axis don't really list any of that information. And there's not much transparency either in what they're buying. Above the x-axis, you see Bitwise and ourselves, which have historically printed out our returns and also are very transparent about what we're buying at all times. Traction. So I mentioned earlier, we raised about 70,000 or so from NFT sales, and we've also raised a little bit from subscriptions and people coming in and learning about our software and liking it and deciding to sign up long term. So we've generated about 100,000 from revenue from customers over the past year. Mainly our activity is focused around Twitter and Discord. That's where our community lives. And we also have a social newsletter that we send out bi-weekly. And then we've been mentioned in the press. There's a few articles about us on Bitcoinist and Crypto Slate and Yahoo Finance. And we're super excited because we just got accepted into the Google Cloud for Startups Web3 program. So this is a huge blessing because it actually gives us quite a decent amount of funding on the back end to help pursue some of the goals that we mentioned earlier. So seed capital, what are we looking for? So we're looking for 400,000, mainly for development and tech. So about half of this is going towards expanding support for new exchanges, offering new index products, things that follow the DeFi market and, what's happening in Web3 gaming, as opposed to, the general index that we've built. We also want to incorporate advanced AI trading features, GPT integration included there. And then the B2B product is on our radar for the fall as well, where we want to launch that and create an on-ramp for institutions. And then marketing, of course, is a quarter of what we're asking for. We need a way to get the word out. So this comes in the way of referral programs, the traditional methods of search and social ads as well. And really also just bolstering the educational newsletter, because we find that's a great way to get people in the door. And then finally, the last quarter of the 400K is just operations, right? Hiring some more folks and really helping just deliver everything we just talked about. So that concludes our presentation. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Kevin and Lennox. What a wonderful presentation. I think we may want to open this up for a couple of questions if anyone has a question for them. Otherwise, I would like to understand what has been, I would say, the most interesting feedback from your current customers.
That's a good question. I'll take a stab at it and then Kevin, feel free to jump in. I think the most interesting feedback and this has been fairly consistent from really our MVP days. A lot of people that somehow find us, whether it's Reddit or wherever, Twitter, um, I found it interesting that a lot of people have thought about this, like this style of investing, like it makes sense. So a lot of people have, I would often see comments about, oh yeah, this is really cool. I thought about it once upon a time, and I was wondering if someone had made something like this. So we kept hearing that over and over and over. But I think it just really alludes to just the simplicity of the concept itself. It's really easy to understand. So people are easy; they resonate with it right from the jump. I don't know, Kevin, do you have anything that pops into your head that's interesting feedback that we've got?
Yeah, I think a lot of the feedback is around building trust, right? Because whenever you're releasing, whether it be any sort of investing product, especially around crypto, as Lennox alluded at the beginning, there's just like a lot of misinformation out there, and it takes time to build trust with our community or customers or whatever, however you want to define them. And so a lot of the feedback has been around, transparency, letting them know what's happening on the back end, right? I think everyone has been following the news with Ledger and the lack of transparency there, and that kind of blew up in their face, and it's a PR nightmare. So really being transparent with the community is something that we listen to, and we also want to make sure that they know where their money is going at all times and how their money is going there. And I think that helps build trust and helps with customer growth as well.
And it was really exciting to see you guys do an NFT drop. I was, there for all of that journey, and kind of following the footsteps of Uniswap and other DeFi projects that actually had an NFT drop and then created an environment, going forward. Did you see that as an integral part of the product launch here? And was it just sign of the times, or did it actually help grow the community?
I mean, it was huge for us just because it's not every day you get to make the claim that you're the first NFT project offering this type of utility. So we found that drew a lot of attention, and it really jump started the growth of our community. So that was definitely an integral part to our strategy. And obviously, the market will be the market. It's cyclical in nature. There's ups and downs. People are heavily sentiment swayed and driven. But yes, NFTs definitely were a big part of our coming out story.
And huge for marketing too, as a marketing instrument. Historically, people who are buying NFTs are just open to trying new things. So they're willing to try what we put out there. After, of course, we've gained their trust. But also we're planning to use NFTs in the future as well. So we're about to drop a free mint, which grants users an extended trial to our platform. So this is like a 1-month trial. So they can get into our platform via the authentication tech that I talked about previously. But also they'll be prompted after the trial ends to automatically renew their subscription via fiat or crypto. So as a marketing channel, we think it's still very viable, and we want to continue tapping into that.
Excellent. I love that idea that it's all kind of merging together. Thank you so much for the presentation.